Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Today we are here. So I am going to be cooking mugg today, not mugg ni dal, mugg. This is green lentils and I'll take you guys through the ingredients, and I'm also doing some chicken with it. The chicken that I'm doing is a chaat chicken. It's a dry chicken that I'm going to be making. Very simple, few ingredients, and almost like a fried chaat chicken to go with the dal. The dal is going to be a bit saucy kind of thing, so the dry is wet, and then obviously the chicken is going to be dry. So that's how we're going to complement it. Let's go through the ingredients and take you through the steps and let you know how I've prepped the dal up so I can get started with the dal for now. Right, for the ingredients for the dal, what I've got is I've got green mugg. I like to dry roast my dal in a pan and then soak it overnight. In the morning, you throw the water out, you take fresh water, and then what you want to do is you want to boil your dal in that water. Now, that water that you use to boil your dal has got so much of nutrients. So if you're vegetarian, you can definitely use that water to make soup out of that dal, or use it into your curries or any of those things. It's got a lot of flavor, it's got a lot of nutrients, so use that water if you've got it. Right, then the rest of the ingredients that I've got on this side are dal spice. I've also got some cumin powder. I've got onions, 1 onion finely sliced. I've got 1 tomato finely chopped and de-seeded. I've got some chicken stock, some ghee here. I've also got whole cumin, a little bit of yogurt, fresh cream, green chilies, and what we've got here is we've got some fennel, mustard seeds, rye and methi seeds. So we've roasted that and we're going to use that for our tempering. All right, so for the pot now, let's get started. I'm going to add some ghee here in my pot and allow this pot to the ghee to melt. And throw in a little bit of whole cumin seeds so that we can allow this to temper. And I'm also going to add a little bit of ginger garlic. So fresh ginger garlic going in. So as soon as the cumin seeds start sputtering and it has flavored the ghee, we're going to add onions, and once the onions are soft and pink, I'm going to add the ginger garlic, the spices, and then we're going to add the dal. So what I've done obviously with the dal is I've cooked the dal. The dal is almost about 80 to 90% cooked. So when I press this in between my finger, it's got a slight hold to it, but it's like 80% done. So that will obviously make my life easy, because now all I want to do is just put it up together like this and it'll get done pretty quick. Right, we're going to add the onions. And I want to brown these onions till they're nice and light golden. And I'm going to add another half of an onion in my tempering with my tomatoes. The tomatoes are not going into the dal. They're actually going to be used for tempering. So I'm going to add another half onion and I'm going to cut it and keep it aside. Slice it and keep it aside exactly like this. So to the onions, when I'm frying it, to make them nice and golden, what I do like to do is I like to add a little bit of salt. And what it does is it draws out the excess moisture from your onions, and it helps to make it really nice and crispy as well. So while this is getting done, I just want to talk about this five spices that we've put together. We've got fennel here, we've got mustard seeds here, we've got kalonji here, and we've got methi seeds here. And this is a really, really nice mix of spices for your tempering of the dal. Very unique, and it really does flavor your dal quite nicely. So we're going to use that to temper our dal. Let's just get this onions brown. Okay, so now that the onions are nice and golden, they're nice and golden brown here, I am going to add in some of my spices. So I'm going to add in cumin powder. I'm also going to add in my ginger garlic. And with the ginger garlic, what I'm going to do is add just a tiny bit of water so that my spices and my onions don't burn. We just want to braise this quickly. So now that this is in and we flavored the onions nicely with it, I am going to add the lentils, the mugg, give it a bit of a stir. In goes dal spice. I'm adding in, this is about 1.5 to 2 cups of dal. I'm adding in about 2 teaspoons of dal spice. We've added salt already. And I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of chicken stock in here. Right, so we're going to add in, I'm just going to increase my heat a bit because I brought the heat down. Give that a bit of a mix. And I'm going to add about 1 cupful of chicken stock and let that sort of come to heat and come up to a gentle boil. Alright, so now the dal has come to a gentle boil with my stock. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the lid on and leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes just for the flavors to come through together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our yogurt, and then I'm going to get started with the tempering of my dal, and then we're going to temper the dal, and then that dal is simply done. We've got some fresh cream here. All right, now that the dal has come to a gentle boil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the heat, and I'm going to pop my lid on and just let this simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. And we're going to get started with the tempering of the dal. Once this is done for about 15 minutes or so, I'm then going to add some double cream yogurt. I've got about 3 tablespoons of double cream yogurt that's here. So we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of double cream yogurt in here, and then get started with the tempering of the dal. The fresh cream will go in towards the very end. So I've also got some fresh cream here, about 1/2 cup of fresh cream, but we'll come to that in a bit. So while this dal is cooking for about 15 to 20 minutes or so, and until it gets nice and soft, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this onto the other side, and I'm going to get started with my chicken. So I want to take you guys through the ingredients of the chicken. So let's pop all this on this side, and the chicken is very, very simple. Alright, so for the charred chicken, the ingredients are very simple. I've just got some chicken here that I've brined as usual. I like to brine my chicken, so I've brined my chicken overnight. The recipe for the brine is under my Portuguese chicken recipe on my YouTube channel, so go have a look there. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel as well. So I've just marinated the chicken after brining in some ginger garlic and turmeric, and I've left it like this. On this side, I've got some chaat masala that's here. And I've got some date vinegar that's here. I've also got some ghee here, and I'm going to try and keep this quite simple and quick. Okay guys, so for the charred chicken, what I've got here is I've put my tawa on here, and I am going to add ghee into my tawa here while my dal is getting done. So we're going to add some ghee. And I'm just going to make sure that it's all across. Okay guys, so the pan is nice and hot. We're going to place the chicken. So I've cut these into smaller size. And what I want to do is I want to quickly just brown these. Give it some color. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the lid on and let my chicken get a bit of color. And once it's got a bit of color, Then I am going to add date vinegar and chaat masala, lots of coriander, a sprinkling of green chilies. It's a very simple dry chicken recipe, so we're not doing anything more with it. So let's just wait for the chicken to get brown and then I'll show you guys what we're doing. I don't know what happened to my stove here, but this is supposed to be done on high heat. So we're going to turn this around and you can see it's got beautiful gold color now. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some golden color. And I'll let this get some color again. So I like to pop the lid on, otherwise it really just messes my stove more than anything else. So what I've done here with my turmeric also a little bit is I've just for flavor added. Okay guys, so now that this has got a nice bit of color here, what we're going to do is I am going to just reduce my temperature. And what I've also done with the chicken when I marinated the chicken was I did add a little bit of the rose spice. The Korea rose spice for some flavor. Not a lot, just a little bit. So we're going to reduce this. I am going to add in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of date vinegar. And this is sweet and sort of tangy at the same time. And also a little bit of the chaat spice. Pop the lid on, not a lot. So pop the lid on. Also a little bit of salt. So here's some chaat spice that's gone in here. Half of a teaspoon, a little bit of salt. And let this slowly cook till the chicken is nice and cooked. Alright guys, so the chicken's been cooking for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. I am going to remove the lid and I am going to turn this around. Just pop my chicken around, and I haven't added any water or anything. It's just released its own juices, which it's been cooking in. It's just perfect. It's like mild and it's not overpowered by basically any spice. So if you can't find date vinegar, you're more than welcome to use malt vinegar or any sort of fruity vinegar to give it that sort of taste. But date vinegar has got a lot of health benefits and it's quite easily available these days. So try and get your hands on some date vinegar. So once again, to recap, I marinated the chicken in a little bit of rose spice, little bit of ginger, garlic and turmeric. That's it. And then all we did was we heated some ghee. We popped our chicken in, we let it fry. Date vinegar, chaat masala, salt. And I am going to throw in a little bit of half of a juice of a lemon. Pop the lid on for another 10 minutes or so, and then this chicken is done. Okay guys, so the chicken's done. This is what it looks like. I am simply going to serve it in this tawa here. So I'm going to switch it off and we're going to sprinkle with some dhania and some green chilies. And that is your chaat chicken done, chana chaat chicken done. In the meantime, what's happened with my dal is, the dal is also cooked. So I'm going to swap this over again and get this on here so I can show you guys what's happening with the dal. Right, for the tempering, I'm going to add some ghee into my pan here while my dal is still sort of steaming with the yogurt. Once this gets done, we are going to add in the 4 spices. So that was the mustard seed, the fennel seed, the methi seeds. We're going to just let that temper, and kalonji. We're going to let that temper with some green chilies, and we're going to add that on top of our dal, and that's the dal done. Alright guys, so my ghee is nice and hot. I'm going to add the spices here. Let that temper with some green chilies. finely chopped green chilies, and some of the tomatoes that we've chopped and kept ready. So I really just don't want to cook the tomatoes. The tomatoes will be whole, and I want to still see that vibrant color from the tomatoes, the red tomatoes, bright red tomatoes coming through in my dal. So we're just going to leave that, add that at the very last, and pop it into our dal here with our tempering. All right, so now that the ghee is flavored, we're going to add the tomatoes. Just one hand. And I'm going to pop this into my pot here, let it temper for a minute or so. And towards the very end, when I add my fresh cream, I'm going to do a sprinkling of the garam masala. Leave this for about a minute or so, and then we've got this fresh cream that's here, so we're going to drizzle the fresh cream and some garam masala, and that's the dal done as well. Alright guys, so this is tempered for about a few minutes. Pop the lid open. I am going to do a good drizzle of fresh cream. It's a quarter of a cup of fresh cream, some garam masala, some charred chicken. That's a dry charred chicken that we've prepped, and some mugg.